Hey everyone, my name is Xenia, and today we're going to find out why the Texas fans love Jamie Hayter, don't quite believe in Roderick Strong, and are clamoring for a pay-per-view.
Should AEW bring a pay-per-view to Texas? It's kind of like a redundant question because of course they should. We got all the big cities, Texas, going back to the Von Erichs and the rich history in Texas as it is, we're ready for it. We want it all the time.
Hell yes. Well, let me just say, I personally have been to all of the Double or Nothings except for this last one and the one they had in Jacksonville.
Absolutely, they should. Which one? Any of them, if not all of them.
Bring any of them, Full Gear, Double or Nothing.
Would definitely love to see an all-in or a Double or Nothing pay-per-view come to Texas.
All in, all out, either one, we'll take any of them.
Texas is huge. Texas is all the big things happening right here in Texas. You need to be here.
I believe either here or I would say the HEB Center or maybe one of the events up in Dallas. I know Dallas could throw on a good show as well.
Any of the pay-per-views you guys bring anywhere in Texas, we're gonna travel, we're like a herd, we're gonna sell that bitch out, guaranteed.
We just had an absolutely amazing go-home show, go-home Dynamite before the pay-per-view, before Double or Nothing in Austin, Texas. And I unfortunately couldn't make it, but of course we could not miss it. And I sent a wonderful member of my team to cover it for you guys. And of course we had to still ask the fans some questions and experience the show and see what they think.
Ooh, my favorite AEW wrestler. So this is gonna be a controversial pick.
It's CM Punk all day, all night. Whether he's on the roster, off the roster, he's at home, he's on vacation, he's number one forever and ever.
I love MJF, but as a good guys go, I gotta go Darby. So those are my two favorites.
The best bout machine, Kenny Omega, is the best in AEW.
I'd have to go with some of the dudes involved with it, not the new ones. I'd have to go with Jake the Snake. I mean, I'm just a huge fan. He's involved with the franchise, so I'm a huge fan of him.
Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, Darby Allin, the list is too long.
That's a tough one. The Ocho, Chris Jericho. As much as I love the Acclaimed, everybody loves the Acclaimed.
You know who it is? It is Kenny Omega from North Carolina.
So many things are happening, so much is on the edge. Stacked show. We were supposed to hear from Don Callis and finally find out why he betrayed Kenny Omega. We had several championship matches. Without further ado, let's dive right in and see what the Texas fans were thinking in the anticipation of the show. We had so many hardcore fans in that crowd. Most of them had not missed a single Texas show. We had fans who travel for AEW shows, who travel for pay-per-views. So it was definitely a tightly knit, electric crowd.
All right, is this my first All Elite Wrestling show? No, this is not my first one. This is one of many. Been coming since day one for All Elite Wrestling.
No, this is not my first AEW show.
No, this is not my first show. I've actually went to the one in San Antonio as well. It was fantastic. It was the Holiday Bash.
Came to the very first one out at the HEB Center, Cedar Park, back in 2020. Best night ever. Been a lifelong fan of AEW ever since they first came out.
Not at all. I've been to many, many, many.
Oh no, it's not my first show, it's the first of many. I've been coming since day one.
No, I've been to every All Elite Wrestling show in Texas.
Anytime it's local and all the big shows, I usually fly out, catch a flight, catch a room, and go at it.
This is actually, I believe, my fifth or sixth. I've been to every one in Austin so far.
Our TNT champion Wardlow opened the show. Once again, he called upon Christian to reveal himself and to stop sending cryptic threats and finally to step up like a man and to prove what he stands for. Of course, Christian still always has Luchasaurus by his side, so definitely Wardlow could use another pair of eyes on the back of his head for this one. And Christian does come out and does step up though with a monster by his side, and that segment quickly turns into a brawl and Christian and Luchasaurus end up using a ladder. Wardlow beating him up. Arn Anderson is not happy with Wardlow because Wardlow knew it was going to happen, told him to stand back, told him to stay backstage and, you know, not take part in any of that. And that did lead to Wardlow very fairly saying that, hey, if you want to play with ladders, let's have a ladder match. So that's exactly what's coming up, and Wardlow is going to defend his TNT title in a ladder match against Christian. The first match that we had was some tag team action, Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. And we definitely had some Darby Allin fans in the crowd. He was one of the favorites that a lot of the fans mentioned. And he is in the four-way on the pay-per-view for the World Heavyweight Championship. And a lot of the fans are pointing out that he's on a great run, that he's been picking up steam, and he's definitely coming into that match one of the favorites. Orange Cassidy seems to be able to tag perfectly with pretty much anyone. The chemistry is always there. I don't know how he does it. The match starts out very intense with Orange and Lee Moriarty, a bunch of consecutive pin attempts with kickouts at one. The two competitors seem to be very, very on par, very equal. And that being said, the face-off between Darby Allin and Big Bill is definitely a sight to behold. Big Bill is the size of two Darby Allins. But if there's any wrestler out there who is not afraid of size difference, who is not afraid of perceived strength difference, who operates on just pure motivation, on pure energy, hell on wheels, Darby Allin launches a drop kick at Big Bill, doesn't care. Darby Allin is just an absolute firecracker. And that is also a good note for anyone whose argument against intergender wrestling is a perceived size difference. As you can see, Darby Allin steps up to Big Bill just perfectly fine, and so does Orange Cassidy. That dynamic yielded us a fast-paced, smooth tag team match with Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy emerging on top, Darby Allin getting the pin, again solidifying just how ready he is to challenge MJF for that World Heavyweight Championship. Next, we had Sammy Guevara take on Exodus Prime. A very quick match. Sammy Guevara almost instantaneously picks up the win, definitely sends a message to MJF, but also to his other two opponents, to Jungle Boy and Darby Allin. And this is the second pillar at the show who picked up a win. So that match on the pay-per-view is looking intense. It's looking like it's going to be a very, very equal fight. And though we did see Sammy Guevara make amends with Darby Allin and Jungle Boy, and it's starting to look more and more like a gang up on MJF, we definitely need to remember that in a four-way, especially for the title, it's every man for himself. So Sammy Guevara should worry about himself and his possible win. The rivalry between FTR, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt, and of course Satnam Singh, continues to heat up. We did see the latter walk into the ring with guitars that were assigned to Cash and Dax accordingly with the names on the guitars, so definitely inciting some violence. And FTR did deliver an attack, but what we did not expect is another equalizer on Team Jeff Jarrett. We saw Jeff Jarrett's wife, Karen Jarrett, take matters in her own hands. She was in the ring, she delivered a low blow to Cash Wheeler, and there's yet another soldier on Jeff Jarrett's team now. And who knew that Karen would be such a difference maker? But her interference did result in FTR getting hit across the head with assigned guitars that were brought out there for them. And I was sure that it would not face FTR for too long. And I'm sure that would just add more oil to the fire with that rivalry. And FTR are coming into that match at Double or Nothing at their angriest, at their hopefully still, calm, with a cool head and a hot heart. And we'll see what they deliver at the pay-per-view. Then we had Outcasts in Tony Storm and Ruby Soho in this particular match take on Britt Baker and Hayter'S teaming together as a tag team for the first time in AEW. We did ask the fans who they were sided with, and there was an overwhelming wave of support for the homegrown talent. The fans are definitely siding with Hayter'S and Britt Baker, and we did get so many Jamie Hayter fans, so it's a shame that she couldn't be at the show because Austin, Texas absolutely adores her. And the fans did say that they relate to the homegrown talent and that as AEW fans, as AEW supporters, they are there for people who also have been there since day one. So the crowd was definitely siding with Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida.
Going with the homegrown, I feel like the day one people like Britt Baker and Shida who've been here since day one and putting in all the work. So I'm definitely going in with the AEW originals.
I'm going homegrown talent.
You know what? This one's going to be Britt Baker because she is definitely the pillar of the women's division.
Oh, I'm siding with the homegrown talent, baby. I mean, I was AEW born and bred.
She continues to carry the women's division on her back. She'll definitely take this one right here.
Britt Baker, it ain't Brittsburg, but I mean, she's the one.
Sorry, man. Sorry, you outsiders. Hit the bricks.
Always love homegrown talent better than the outsiders coming in trying to stir things up. As much as that's awesome, definitely got to go homegrown.
She's the pillar of like the women's division. So even though outsider, I still got to, still got to go with Britt.
I'm a Hayter'S. Love Jamie Hayter, plain and simple. She's a champ.
Jamie Hayter all the way.
I'm gonna have to go with Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter. Fuck the Outcasts. F the Outcasts.
Jamie Hayter.
So as the sign here clearly shows, Jamie Hayter is the wrestler. She's the best wrestler. Better than all the wrestlers. So she's the one.
Hayter's gonna hate.
Hayter's gonna hate.
And what a spectacular match that was. 3 former world champions in one match, and Outcasts delivering their absolutely unorthodox, ruthless in-ring style. Saraya always on the sidelines, always interfering, always distracting. And it did seem like Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida tagging together for the first time was a bit of a hindrance, because in tag team wrestling so much relies on chemistry, so much relies on knowing your partner, and the Outcasts are a very, very tightly knit group. So maybe that divide, or more so just that lack of rapport between Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida, though not visible to the naked eye, maybe it did bring a wedge into that match, and maybe it did hinder their performance. But also you can never discount the Outcasts' dirty tactics, because Toni Storm did end up spray painting Britt Baker in the face and getting that pin. Then we had Chris Jericho versus Roderick Strong. And though the fans showed so much support for Roderick Strong and everyone is incredibly happy to see him in AEW, most fans did not think it was possible for him to beat Chris Jericho.
Oh, is Roderick Strong going to beat Chris Jericho in his match tonight? No way. It's his first match in AEW. He's gonna have a really good match.
Would love to see it happen. I'm gonna say no.
Jericho's the man.
You know what? Roderick Strong will defeat Chris Jericho because he is the master of the backbreaker. Adam Cole will not be needed tonight.
He's gonna almost beat Jericho. Almost, but then he's gonna get screwed by the ref or by someone.
I would have to say Adam Cole won't interfere, but he will come out after the match to attack Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah, Roderick Strong is definitely gonna beat Chris Jericho.
No, there's no fucking way you can defeat Chris Jericho. Sorry, dude, ain't happening.
This is just his time to get his comeuppance. He's been acting a fool in the JAS, and Roderick Strong has come in at the right time to put him in his place.
I think Roderick Strong will come out and win the match, but either Adam Cole or I say my money is on Kyle O'Reilly making an appearance back from injury.
Adam Cole, I don't know. If he shows up, sure, fine, but I think Roderick Strong can handle it on his own.
And also most fans did not expect Adam Cole to interfere in that match, and they had all their trust in Roderick Strong and that all the paperwork, Adam Cole is banned out of the arena, JAS are banned out of the arena, would work, and it would be a genuine one-on-one bout. I have a special soft spot in my heart for Falls Count Anywhere matches. I just feel like it's such a great field for innovative offense. The entire arena becomes a weapon. The entire arena becomes a battlefield, and it's just incredible to watch. It's especially incredible to watch if they're out at the concessions and you're a fan who's just buying a Diet Coke, and suddenly you're front row for Chris Jericho versus Roderick Strong. That's never happened to me before. I hope it does sometime. Maybe it's just because I'm not out there buying soda during matches. No shame. Going back to the innovation, I think we had the first ever vertical pin attempt in the history of wrestling, and the way the two opponents were just dragging each other through the entire arena, piling trash on each other, hitting each other with anything that they would find was just absolutely incredible. But you cannot forget, behind the show of it is the ruthlessness of it, because for us as fans, it was, of course, incredibly entertaining, but for them it was finally a way to resolve, or maybe start to resolve, this long-running conflict. Roderick Strong pretty much fighting on behalf of his best friend Adam Cole, delivering a beating to Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho, of course, a veteran, absolutely seasoned professional, standing his ground with an incredible matchup. And even though the fans did not think Adam Cole was going to find a loophole, he did. He was banned out of the arena, but once the action spilled outside onto the street, the ban is no more. That is outside the arena. And you cannot even blame Adam Cole for interfering in the match. First of all, in Falls Count Anywhere, anything goes, like in War and Love. There's no rules, and Adam Cole, from the moral standpoint, has every single reason to want to get his hands on Jericho, and so he did, served some justice, and Roderick Strong picks up his first singles win in AEW. Then we had Rush versus Jungle Boy. And even though Rush has been on an absolutely devastating run in AEW, and the fans, of course, noticed that.
Rush versus Jungle Boy. I gotta go Jungle Boy, man. He's on too good of a roll.
Jungle Boy's gonna win. I think he picks up momentum.
You know what? Jungle Boy is going to be my pick tonight.
I love Rush. Nothing happens unless Rush says so.
Because he is on his way up to the stratosphere.
Ooh, on this one, I have to be an ingobernable with this one, because Rush, I mean, this is, you know, it's tranquilo.
Boy, I gotta go with my man Jungle Boy on this one.
Jungle Boy, bro, come on.
Most fans were siding with Jungle Boy Jack Perry for this one. He has been winning the crowd over more and more, and it's at a point where he is genuinely a power to reckon with. He's such a strong competitor. He's been building his reputation. He defeated Christian, and now he is on to his challenge for the title. And this match was definitely a stepping stone, yet another opportunity for him to prove his worth against a very, very intense opponent. Rush, just the sheer power, and Toro Blanco, the White Bull, just the absolute ruthless strength that Rush possesses is incredible to witness, and I would imagine terrifying to face in the ring. Jack Perry, though, did amazingly at matching this intensity. Super hard-hitting match, even with the chops. I don't think I've ever seen chops this strong from Jungle Boy. And Jack Perry did pick up the win, becoming the third pillar on the go-home show before Double or Nothing to win, to pick a pin, and to deliver a message that he is ready to be in that match and he is ready to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rush did attack Jack Perry after the match, which resulted in a fight that broke out, which ended with the three pillars helping each other out and standing side by side, not necessarily forming an alliance. I really wouldn't say so. It's still pretty evident that they don't particularly like each other, but now we see that they respect each other, and it's definitely a way more tightly knit unit than MJF had with Sammy, or than MJF has with anyone now. MJF doesn't really have anyone in his corner, which is not playing out well for him, even though, again, we've been noticing the fans warming up to MJF. But coming into this four-way title match, MJF is not doing great, because for the champion in a four-way match for the title, he doesn't need to be pinned. He doesn't need to submit. He has to keep an eye on three different competitors to be able to keep his title. Renee Paquette did inquire for a comment from MJF, which he refused to give. And talking about the title matches, we also had Toni Storm challenge Jamie Hayter for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, which is very fair because Toni Storm was the interim Women's World Heavyweight Champion, and it actually was Jamie Hayter who ended her title reign, so it's only fair for her to want that revenge, for her to want another shot. And we also saw Orange Cassidy initiate a sort of an open challenge, and we heard from Renee Paquette that 20 people inquired to wrestle Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy, being the nonchalant guy that he is, just said, "I will wrestle all of them." So it is 21 people, the Blackjack Battle Royal, talking about high stakes. That is definitely a match where the champion is facing one heck of a challenge and he has to really keep his eye on the prize. So many people, and Orange Cassidy is probably the one person who is simultaneously so whatever, but also so ready and willing, such a fighting champion that would take on a challenge like this, and not only take on a challenge like this, but put it upon himself in his own accord. So we're gonna see how that plays out for Orange Cassidy. Then we had the last match of the night, Jay White versus Ricky Starks, and the fans were pumped for this one. And even though we did hear so much positive feedback for Ricky Starks, the fans have been loving him. We even got a comparison to the Young Rock. That's how huge and how electrifying Ricky Starks is, though most fans did predict a Jay White win.
Ricky Starks versus Jay White. Who wins? Oh my God. Those are two of my favorite wrestlers, period, right now.
Ricky Starks, you know what? Hometown kid for the most part. Starks is taking this one.
Charismatically, I gotta go Ricky, man. Ricky Starks is like, he's like the next Rock, but Jay White is so slick too. I don't know. That's a tough question.
I say Jay White. Jay White.
Absolute Ricky Starks has got the win.
We love Ricky Starks here in Austin, Texas, but it's gonna be Switchblade tonight.
He's from New Orleans, but he's got the backing of Texas, Austin, Texas to be specific. And I think all the energy of the crowd is going to bring it through to get him that win.
I'm going to have to go with my man Ricky Starks.
And most fans are happy to see New Japan wrestlers getting more and more prominently featured in AEW. We did ask them who they want to see in the future in AEW from the New Japan roster.
Are you liking the new Japanese wrestlers being showcased in AEW? That is a big pet peeve of mine, is a lot of people don't know the new Japanese wrestlers.
Japanese wrestlers here in AEW, absolutely love them. You know why? It's a different style than American wrestling. You know what? Any of the Japanese wrestlers is welcome.
And I've been following them for a long time, and I love it. I love that they're getting national publicity. It's the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you incorporate any company, you know, in the States, or especially you reach over to Japan and start bringing those guys in.
Japanese wrestlers, I think, is a great showing. Definitely shows more cultural aspects of their heritage, their style of performance.
The more the merrier, because, you know, wrestling is nothing but love.
Absolutely. Yeah, diversity is key in this sport.
Oh yes, of course. I loved the event last year. I'd like to see Okada come back.
Maybe more Konosuke Takeshita. Would love to see more of him in AEW.
Any of them are welcome. I love the cross between.
We love all the Japanese talents. Me and my friends have watched DDT and Noah for a good while now. Konosuke is the future.
But also besides New Japan, we did get some DDT and Noah mentions, and so many fans are absolutely enchanted by Konosuke Takeshita, which Don Callis has been trying to recruit him, which I would imagine with what's going on right now, Don Callis has other things to take care of, but I'm hoping we are going to see more Takeshita on our screens in the near future. That match was definitely high stakes for Ricky Starks. Jay White is the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, former Never Openweight Champion, just an insanely decorated wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the world, in my humble opinion. And he also, of course, had Juice Robinson on the outside, so Ricky Starks definitely had to keep that in mind and be careful with that. Ultimately, we saw these two wrestlers finally get their hands on each other, test each other's resilience. Such a hard-hitting, smart, fluid match. We saw two incredibly intelligent wrestlers go at each other, and it was evident at how calculated both of them are. It was incredible to watch. And one would imagine Jay White being such a decorated wrestler, it would be a way quicker deal. He would emerge on top way quicker, but Ricky Starks matched that intensity and matched that experience and matched that skill, that expertise with ease. And Jay White actually ended up winning by disqualification because Ricky Starks decided to use a weapon, a chair. So if it wasn't for that, we don't even know who would have emerged on top. And I personally would hope that this is not the end of this rivalry. And final segment, last but not least, we were finally about to hear from Don Callis and find out why he betrayed his son, his family, Kenny Omega. Of course, we did ask the fans beforehand what their thoughts on that were. Some of them were pretty ruthless. Some of them said it's not even a betrayal, it's just time to move on. Some of them opted to insult Don Callis, which again, can't blame them for that.
Why did Don Callis betray Kenny Omega? Oh, do you guys have 30 minutes?
No, because Kenny Omega, I mean, being the god of pro wrestling, I mean, Don Callis got him to where he is. Let's just be honest.
Because it was definitely time for him to move on. Kenny is off to bigger and better things. Doesn't need Don Callis holding him back anymore.
So it ain't betrayal, it's just time to move on.
To side with Will Ospreay, because he left Chris Jericho to go with Kenny Omega, now he's getting with the younger, hotter Kenny Omega, boom. That's exactly why.
Because of his allegiance with the Elite and Hangman Adam Page coming back into the picture.
I think he's going to be in some kind of help to BCC with Moxley and everybody. He's got a hand in that, so I think that's why he betrayed on Omega.
Don Callis betrayed Kenny Omega because he's a dick.
We had theories and theories, but ultimately Don Callis is the only person who knows the truth, and he made his way down to the ring. So much security. The footage playing on the Titantron like a sick, twisted person that he is. He put the act of the betrayal on the big screens for everyone to experience again. The crowd was not happy with Don Callis. We had some piece of something, chance, and Don Callis goes on to say that it's not about what Kenny Omega did for him, it's about what he did for Kenny Omega, and how Kenny Omega repaid him by putting him in danger. And Don Callis claims that he is the victim in this situation, not Kenny Omega. Though Don Callis could not speak for long, as Kenny Omega himself, the man, the best bout machine, the Austin, Texas favorite, fan favorite, by the way, emerged. And of course, a brawl broke out. The BCC is there, the Bucks are there. The BCC attacked the Bucks backstage prior to that, but the Bucks still could make his way out there to help out Kenny Omega. And finally, we did see Hangman Adam Page also join forces with the Elite. And finally, to the delight of the crowd, the Elite is back together and all is right in the world. But maybe not quite all, because the BCC is out there and they're claiming that they are the elite of this business and that there's no other elite. And they want a piece of Kenny Omega, of the Bucks, of Hangman Adam Page. So that actually resulted in the match that we are getting at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. The Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club, Anarchy in the Arena. As someone who has witnessed one of those matches live, if I do say so myself, it is absolute mayhem in the most delightful way possible. It is the best grounds for two groups of people to sort out their beef, to have a go at each other. No limitations, no rules, no holds barred, just an absolute brawl. And I cannot be more excited for that. And on that beautiful note, of course, we had to ask the fans in Austin, Texas, our favorite question: why do you love AEW? Why do you come to shows?
I love All Elite Wrestling because it gives you the alternative to what may be else out there. And it kind of focuses on what I believe pro wrestling to be all about.
This is actual wrestling back when I was a kid during the 80s and early 90s, where it had some passion to it.
I love All Elite Wrestling. They're the best shows. I've been watching all these dudes on the indies for years.
And the interaction with the fans and feeling inclusive and a part of it is all the more reason to come.
AEW has a lot of passion.
Oh man, the crowd interaction, just the, it's all original. It's great.
It's pure wrestling, it's no BS.
All Elite Wrestling is a great alternative to wrestling out there. It is definitely one of the best run promotions.
It's straight up action, always action all night, 2 hours.
I love AEW Wrestling because it's something new, it's something fresh.
It gives you an alternative to what else is out there. Prices are very affordable for one. And you know what? You definitely get a better showcase of talents.
I love ending this video on such a heartwarming, beautiful note. Do you guys also like it? Leave a comment down below. And in the meanwhile, give this video a like if you had a good time, subscribe, tap the notification bell to never miss an upload, and until next time, goodbye.